I'm gonna put a Google Docs in the chat here. It's gonna have some figures that we can use.
What's the password for the server? Pancakes?
Pancakes.
Yeah. All right, man. Just hop in as one squad leader. Okay. So just you don't have to look at that right this second. I'll reference it when we need it. Stand by for 1 second. Okay. So this is the Platoon Operations Fireteam course. So for those of you not familiar, Platoon Operations is basically an attempt to build like a standard tactical doctrine for United Operations. So we basically play as a wide variety of different units and different nationalities, organizations, and orbats. But this is basically an attempt to have the same group of people playing the same slots over the course of several training sessions and then into a couple missions. And what this allows you to do is build kind of standard operating procedures and intimacy with the people that you're working with, so that we can facilitate like a higher standard of gameplay. So what this means is we're going to be playing games that are much more realistically oriented and are more deliberate in their execution, with a focus on avoiding casualties and doing things correctly. So yes, this means we're going to spend a lot of time doing things extremely repetitively to practice and to build skills, but with those skills is going to come the ability to execute maneuvers which are much more complex than the typical things that you see on the server from day to day kind of play. So one of the tenets of that is to build individual kind of basic skills. So that forms the base of the whole platoon. If we can't do things as a fire team, then we can't do things as a squad. If we can't do things as a squad, then we're not going to be able to do anything as a platoon. So you gotta build the foundation before you can go on to more interesting and complicated stuff. And a big part of that is knowing how to work as a fire team. And more than that, even though it's labeled fire team training, what it really is it's individual training. It's knowing how to conduct yourself, working with other people in close proximity, and being an effective member of a team. So it's much more of an individual skills thing than it is a fire team thing. There's lots of things with working with other people, but for the most part, that's working with other people in the context of managing yourself. So, with that being said, if everyone could just pay attention, we'll get to doing some stuff very quickly. But we're going to run through very quickly the organization and layout of the fire team before we get into the game. So, fire team consists of four people. You have your fire team leader, your grenadier, your automatic rifleman, and then your rifleman. Each member of the fire team has a specific role and job. The first being the fire team leader. So the fire team leader forms the basis of leadership within the platoon. Actually, before I go on, does anyone have any questions about platoon ops or anything I just talked about before we get started?
About how long is the whole course going to take?
So this particular course should be about an hour and a half-ish.
Cool, thanks.
Alright, any other questions?
Maybe one question. How long term do you foresee this project in terms of maybe the leadership sticking around? So just squad leaders, platoon leader, whatever. Is this a 6-month kind of you hope to see fruit bear, or is this 1 year, 2 years?
Yeah, good question. So the kind of expected training schedule is probably about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we turn over the leadership and have reassemble a new platoon with the same people, and then let other people try different spots, and basically try to build a a cadre of people who are experienced in command and have the same kind of doctrine. So the ability is to build individual members up so that if you get on the server, you can immediately implement this doctrine with other people, and then if we can get like 50% to 75% of the people on the server understanding and speaking this doctrine, then you can like assimilate everyone else just through, if everyone else is doing it the same way, then people will have to catch on and adapt. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I understood this a little bit differently, but that makes a lot more sense. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Anything else?
Will this be possible to also transfer into the main server, or is it only on the training servers? Will we
Oh, I
be-
want to answer. I want to answer that, Falcon.
Go
What
for
I
it.
would encourage you to do is, after you do this today, stay in your group. Stay in your group before, if you can. Go up on the main server and practice this.
Copy.
Yeah,
Would it
it's
be possible-
basically it's as applicable as you want to make it to be. So you can choose not to, but I would recommend, incorporating. And a lot of things we're going to teach is independent of what the rest of the fire team's doing. It's very individually based, so even if everyone else is kind of messing around, you can still be doing your stuff and you'll kick their ass. So pretty soon they'll understand, like, hey, why are we all dead and he's like still alive? Well, he's doing things correctly, so maybe you should do it that way.
Yeah, but not only knowledge, also the squads. Will it be possible to transfer into the main server in like events or cold
Yeah.
missions?
I mean, all it takes is you guys organizing yourself. I mean, if you want to be a squad leader and you want to go do things this way, then if you can find 5 people to do it with you and teach the other 3 people, then go for it.
Cool.
No one's stopping you, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Okay. Anything else? Alright, so we're just briefly go over the different roles of the fire team members, and even if you're not that role this time around, just pay attention because you will be at some point, and it's important to know what everyone else's job is, so that you can do your job more effectively. So like I said, there's 4 basic positions: the fire team leader, the grenadier, the automatic rifleman, and the rifleman. The fire team leader constitutes basically the lowest form of leadership within the platoon. He's responsible for the 3 fire team members under his command, as well as himself. And his focus is less on maneuver or, any sort of overarching tactics. His focus is on the individual conduct of his fire team members. So, as a fire team leader, you are supposed to be intimately involved with pretty much every single detail of the people under you's command, their execution of the mission. So you need to monitor their stance, their rates of fire, where they are, what they're doing, what they're looking at, what they're saying. All of that is directly, you have to be, very involved in every single aspect of that. So your job is to make your fire team as effective as possible. So if the squad leader says, okay, we're gonna take up this position here, form a line, right? Your job isn't to just sit quietly there and trot over and get in line with the squad leader. No, no, no. Your job is to position every single one of your fire team members so they have the most effective cover, they have the best area of engagement, they're utilizing their weapon systems to its maximum potential. You make sure the guy on the flank is watching the flank. You point out any high-speed avenues of enemy approach, any danger areas, any dead ground, any defilade or concealment. You determine what's the most likely course of enemy action and position your troops accordingly. So as a fire team leader, you have just as much to worry about, if not more, than every other single leader in the platoon. And your job is to be a micromanager. You're supposed to micromanage every aspect of everyone under your command. So that's their job. It's the hardest job in the platoon. It's the most important job in the platoon, and it's the one that gets done the least amount around here. So we'll go more into depth of what you're supposed to be looking for, but that's their job. So second, and the buddy team partner to the fire team leader is the grenadier. Grenadier usually has a M203 or their underslung grenade launcher on their rifle, and as the grenadier, you are the primary weapon system of the fire team. All right, you are the weapon system that can deliver the most area of effect onto a target. You can create the most damage. All right, so as a grenadier, your primary method of engagement is going to be your grenade launcher. So anytime you get in a fight, if you're within range, you're shooting grenades. All right. So your job is to suppress enemy infantry and light armored vehicles using your grenade launcher. All right, in order to basically destroy them. All right. The next member would be the automatic rifleman. Usually carries a light machine gun. Most typical light machine gun is the M249. It's a squad automatic weapon. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Your job is to suppress. So the automatic rifleman fixes the enemy. All right, you're to keep them from moving. You have the most fire, or you have the highest rate of fire of anyone in the fire team. So using that, you can produce a large volume of fire, keep the enemy's heads down, keep them in position. Not necessarily kill them, although if they're in the open, the 249 can be used extremely effectively to inflict casualties, but its main goal is to deliver area fires in order to fix the target. You fix them, the grenadier kills them. Alright, and the rifleman is the last member of the fire team. Basically jack of all trades, master of none. Their role is whatever is most important at that time. If you need to hump ammo, then it's humping ammo. If you need to have an anti-tank weapon, then usually falls to the rifleman. It is, in my opinion, the most fun position in the fire team because you get to do all sorts of stuff, and you also get to be concentrating on actually just shooting people with your rifle. Engaging point targets at range with accuracy is the job of the rifleman. And just as the grenadier is the fire team leader's battle buddy, the rifleman is the automatic rifleman's battle buddy. The two battle buddies pairs constitute the fire team. So the fire team can be divided both as a separate entity and as two independent pairs of people. So that being said, I want everyone right now to identify who their battle buddy is, who their fire team leader is. Alright? So does everyone... Tassel, just go ahead and join second squad, second or fire team under fire team under Pavlov. Blackbird,
Yeah.
you can.
I'm his grenadier. Sorry for being late.
He's
No
in Fire
problem.
Team 2, Squad 1.
Wait, did Blackboard already got assigned, right? Or Blackbird? Yeah, he's in Fire Team 1, Squad 1. Okay, cool. Alright, so is anyone unclear of who their battle buddy is?
Viking, I'm who's in Fire Team 2, Squad 1. Who's rifleman in that squad?
Viking, I'm a rifleman if you're packing the AR.
Okay, who's that?
Kidder, sorry.
Alright. So with everyone decided, does anyone have any questions about the organization or role of fire team members?
May I comment something, Falcon?
Yeah.
Copy. Guys, be aware, as an automatic rifleman, you're not to fucking hit the target, just to suppress. That's the most fucking problem in the primary server. That is, guys with the machine gun position doesn't suppress. They try to take out targets.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's standing there and you have an opportunity to shoot them, by all means kill them. But
If you
I
don't know
think
where
the
the target is,
distinction
though.
needs to be right. Exactly. You're not sitting there waiting for someone to pop up. You're actively attempting to suppress the enemy.
And even if you don't know the exact location of the enemy, or even a rough location of the enemy, you can still open up on where you think the enemy might be. So if you like think,
Right. We'll
well,
talk
if
about
I
that in a
was going to be
second.
ambushing someone here, where the fuck would I be? And shoot at that place.
Right. So that. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go into the game, and we're gonna cover briefly some fireteam formations, and then we're gonna do some advanced contact stuff.
Itchy trigger.
Fucking hold fire!
Somebody's shooting already.
Nice.
Not me.
There we go.
All right.
Yay, I got shot.
Yeah, patch yourself up. All right. So, fire team leaders, I want you to. We'll just go out to the runway past this little like repair station or whatever. I want you guys just form up your fire teams in files. All right. We should have 3 fire teams right now. So we should have 3 fire team files.
2 sections. Form file
Southwest.
on Jimbo.
Falcon, do you want to get the appropriate gear?
Nope. I'll just use this for now. Alright,
Okay,
hey,
in the right order of march.
Jimbo,
In front of us.
just let the
Tassel,
fire
you're
team
the
Have
lead
the
go out.
grenadier.
Tassel, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Rebel, what's your designation? Be the grenadier?
Rebel. It's Tassel, he's the grenadier.
Alright, hold up, guys.
Rebel
So-
disconnected, so Tassel took his place.
Soft.
That's fine. Hey, Jimbo, just let the fire team leaders take it out for now. Jimbo and Meta, just sit with me for a second. We'll just let the fire team leaders take their fire teams over there. So, fire team leaders, go
I got
ahead
it.
and form up your guys to the west on the runway.
Fire team 1
I'm
up.
behind you, Exo.
Fire
Start
team
follow.
2 on Yaxo. Who do I have here? Leonidas, Viking, and Killer. Perfect.
Yeah.
With
so,
me.
I don't think you've got your acre name.
Oh shit.
Exo,
Still I did disable from the female course.
I've been on the low, so what are we doing?
Just take us out of the grass here.
What's this?
Alright, fire team leaders, take your fire teams on the grass to the west, form up in files.
Falcon,
Hey.
do we want them to get all their kit on first?
No.
So Yaxo, from now on, you're the
Yeah.
fire team leader from fire team
I'm
leader.
yellow chaining. Is anyone else?
I have always been.
Okay. I just got dozens of
Okay, guys, in file.
messages.
Order of march
personal
is
messages. Well, I was signed as probably.
Serpent, Blackbird, myself,
Yeah,
Bertrand.
Alright,
Hey,
I'll
guys,
position
close
here.
to Herbie.
Okay.
Alright, so we should have three lines here in front of me. Just come over to
Sorry.
your right, Yaxo. Like, there you go. Thanks. Alright. Everyone hear me? You guys hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, everyone just take a knee. Keep your weapon down. Alright. So this is a file. File is the simplest formation. It's just a, follow the leader line, column. The file is the easiest formation control. It's used when you need a high degree of command and control, and you need the ability to move quickly without, with minimal security. Obviously, it has very good reaction to contact from either flank, but it does suffer from contact to the front. As you can see, enfilading fire can be delivered onto the formation from the front. Enfilade simply means that they're allowed to fire along the length of formation, hitting multiple people at the same time. So the file, while it is useful for situations where you need to move quickly, such as maneuver to assault point or other maneuvers that require a high degree of command and control or when the visibility is low, it is generally a formation that won't see a ton of use in advanced contact situations. Alright, so the formation we're going to work with the most today is going to be the Fireteam Wedge. So the Fireteam Wedge has a very specific layout. Everyone make sure your weapons are on safe or hit escape. Alt-tab, you can look at the document I provided. It has a very distinct method for forming a wedge. In the wedge, the Fireteam leader will take point with his grenadier to his right. The saw will be to his immediate left, and then the rifleman on the outside of the formation. This is a wedge heavy left. If the wedge, which will be our standard. If for non-standard, Fireteam leader can call wedge heavy right, and the two fire teams will reverse their positions. So, the two buddy teams, I should say. So the grenadier would be on the left, and the saw and the rifleman would be on the right. Generally, machine guns are always kept on the flanks, or towards the flanks of the formation in order to provide flank security should the contact be made on the flanks. That way they can immediately start to suppress. Alright. Any questions? Alright, I think you guys all understand basically the formations. Wedge and file are self-explanatory. Line is just a wedge that is flattened out so that all team members are basically form a line towards the direction of contact. There's the staggered column, which is each buddy team takes a specific side and is separated by some distance and individually in file. The fire team echelon, which is merely a wedge with the weak side pushed up so that you form a diagonal line. V, which is a reversed wedge, and then a diamond, which is the AR on point with the grenadier on the right, the rifleman on the left, and the fire team leader in the rear, which is basically a 360 formation to provide 360 security. Not used a whole lot because most 360 security measures are done as a squad. Alright, so what I'd like to do now is talk about advancing to contact, which is one of the more prevalent things we'll be doing as a fire team, and it's something that everyone needs to know how to do, and reaction on contact battle drill. So an advanced contact is basically a movement towards a suspected or known enemy position. It's a movement where you're looking for a fight, you're expecting to make contact with the enemy and engage them. As such, you're going to be moving in a good tactical formation, usually a wedge. And as you're doing that, everyone is going to be doing a couple things. First off, as you're moving, you want to be looking for likely enemy positions. As you're moving forward, you're going to be looking, scanning to your front, scanning to your sides, looking for contact, and looking for places that contact could be likely. So if we're looking out in the field to our front, we see a wide open field, hill in the distance, and a few tree lines. One heavy tree line that runs toward the right, and one heavy tree line that runs to the left with a collection of buildings in front of it. So as we're advancing west, let's say, and looking for enemy contact, I'd be thinking, well, I know there's not enemy contact in the field to my front because I can observe the entire field, but the buildings on the left provide a location where the enemy could be, and I would not be able to observe them. Also, the tree lines provide good concealment, so that's in the location where the enemy contact may be likely. So we want to keep in mind locations of likely enemy contact. The other thing we want to look for is cover locations. So if the enemy starts shooting at me, I want to be able to take cover quickly and effectively. In this case, our options are very limited. So my first thought would be getting into the prone. Alright? If we were advancing in a forest, I'd be picking out trees or rocks, fallen logs, something that looks promising within 2 to 3 meters of my position that I can quickly move to while maintaining my fire team formation and cohesion, but also affording myself better cover. Alright, does anyone have any questions about likely enemy positions or covered and what we're looking for? Alright, so if you're advancing contact, you should be constantly looking for these things and updating them. As you pass the positions of cover, you should be looking for another cover position. Alright? And this follows right into our battle drill. So our battle drill is basically going to be a series of actions that we instinctively perform on contact in response to being engaged. So, our battle drill is pretty simple. It is as follows. Double tap, dash down, cover, communicate. What does that mean? It means that upon taking enemy fire, right? So this is a situation where it's not that we spotted the enemy, not that the enemy spotted us, it's that the enemy is now shooting at us, and we need to get in a position to fight back. So what we're going to do is, we're going to immediately double tap the enemy position. So we're going to put 2 rounds downrange in order to keep their heads down and start to gain fire superiority. We're then going to dash to cover. So keep in mind that covered location that we've been looking for. We're going to sprint there, cover. We're going to get ourselves in cover. In this field, we just hit the deck, right? Go prone. So we're going to double tap, dash down, cover, communicate. At this point, we're going to communicate the contact. So, communicating contact is fairly easy. We're going to use directions in reference to the direction of movement. So if we're moving southwest here, anything contact from the southwest is going to be the front. Anything from the southeast is going to be the left. Anything from the northwest is going to be the right. Anything from the northeast will be rear. In addition to that, you can modify it, say, contact half left. That would be approximately west. Contact quarter left. That would be approximately southwest. Alright? So we say the direction. We give a range. Alright? So range is either in hundreds of meters, or it can be near, middle, far. Near is within 200 meters. Middle is 400 to 200 meters. Far is anything over 400 meters. Right? Outside of rifle engagement range is far. So we give a direction, a distance, give the type of enemy contact, right? Infantry, tanks, whatever they are. Alright? And that allows us to communicate effectively to the rest of the squad where the enemy contact is. Now, if someone communicates something, it is important that we repeat it, right? So let's say someone on the right side of the line says, contact right, enemy infantry far. Alright, then if I'm over on the left of the squad, I won't be able to hear that. So I need to be able to communicate that effectively. So everyone needs to repeat that so that the person on the right or the left of the line can hear it. So if you hear a contact report or anything else significant, always make sure you repeat it. Just helps communication, keeps you in the game, it keeps everyone else in the game. Alright. So let's practice some advanced contact. So fire teams, go ahead and take some spacing. We'll move up on fire team. We'll put the fire teams in line. Fire team leaders, get your fire teams in wedge, and let's just do some advanced contact to the west.
Can we get our guys the proper
Good
equipment?
fire team, wedge.
Right, fire team should
No, we'll
northwest.
just pretend for now. Just keep it simple.
Okay, guys.
Right,
We're going to move a
Okay,
bit
fire
further
team
west
to-
first. In fact, we're going to move to the north. My fire team, so we're not in everyone else's way. So follow me.
Have it off.
Or northwest even.
Yeah, sorry, Mike.
Have
Let's space out.
Yeah, can we spread it back a bit?
Okay, guys, facing west.
So,
Want a wedge. Good boys. Warren, get. Okay, instead of actually shooting, just like say bang. It'd be cool. Okay, guys, spread out a bit.
Alright, hey Meadow and Jimbo, can you guys take a fire team each and supervise?
Roger that. Jimbo, roger.
Okay, advancing.
Alright,
2-6. Let's go.
alright.
Okay, so remember what you're supposed to be looking for. You're supposed to be looking for. Just thinking, if I was the enemy, where would I be to ambush someone in this position? And remember to look behind you as well, because the best
Bernard, tell Herbie
positions
that we
are
can't hear
positions
him
you've
all the way
already
out here.
passed.
Jacques and Jimbo, do we have targets over?
Okay.
Negative. Just have the fire team leaders, you guys can, work your fire teams individually on imaginary contacts until you're satisfied they have their battle drill down.
We can't hear you all the way in the back. Like, at all. Nothing.
That's why you all fucking passed on command.
Okay, well, I didn't hear anything you said.
That's why you pass on commands, otherwise you're never going to hear fucking anyone.
that's my mistake then.
So it's
Sorry.
you, Bertrand,
Yeah.
and you, Blackbird, and you, Serpent. Everyone passes it on. That way, everyone hears it, and also I know that everyone's heard it because I've heard everyone else pass it on.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Okay.
One
So
point I was
moving
just
out
making
again.
over at blue team is that the biggest mistake I see on the primary with wedges is they make them too deep vertically and not horizontally wide enough. So when
Yeah.
the leader echoes something back, it's not heard by the back people.
Wedges are for the
And
weak
that's
anyway.
because people aren't fucking
Glancing in
echoing.
files for the win. Okay, guys, moving out again.
Moving out.
Hey Herbie,
Moving.
Yeah.
just practice the battle drill up to getting on line, and we're just gonna use line to form a line, okay?
Okay. So, fire team, you guys will hear that? On the command line, you form a line
Yep.
on me. Pretty
Cop-
much.
Copy.
Try and bound in your buddy teams if you feel up to it.
or in a
Which means one
direction
of you
that is
gets covering
given.
fire, the other one moves.
Different directions
Okay.
might be given as well.
Yeah. So let's start heading out again, and I'll try and give a fucking proper contact.
Moving out.
I'm also quite a bit tipsy. Doesn't help. Alright. Contact from! Bam, bam, bam.
Contact front. Contact front. Oh, damn it.
Line.
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 Blackbird, you're now dead. Don't stand up in the middle of combat, or crouch. Stay prone. Bang bang.
Shooting.
Okay guys, that was half decent.
Firing.
Let's be quicker on the passing on
Alright
commands.
guys, if once you've done it
And,
once or twice,
Blackbird,
go ahead and add in
once you go prone, get
ammo,
up again.
just make
Because
sure you're not
once you
shooting
get up
towards
again,
any
you'll
of the rest
target
of the
again.
squad.
Stay as low as you can for as long as possible. If you just stand up in the middle of the battlefield, they're just going to aim straight at you and take you out. Because normally the guys standing up are commanders trying to see what's happening. So, the second you stand up, you identify yourself as a primary target for every single enemy out there. And also it means they can simply see you. If you're prone, they can hardly see you. Even if you crouch, you're still a lot more visible than if you're prone.
Hey Falcon.
Yeah.
Whenever you need me, I'll be ready to go out there, teleport or whatever.
Yeah, roger.
So be,
Oh my god, it's a Russian!
unfortunately, I'm like in parade.
Alright guys, so let's get inward again,
fairly
facing
decorated,
west.
But this is only when I can teleport. So.
Alright, that's fine.
Ready.
Alright, moving out.
Moving out.
Moving.
Hey Beta.
Contact right! Bang,
Co-
bang, bang.
Contact right.
Beta or Beta?
Contact right.
Beta,
Disregard meta.
Line.
Bang.
Come on, man, run.
Alright then, okay. Next time when you move up, if both of you are moving together, then forget about what the rest of the team's doing. Unless we're bounding by buddy teams, you should always have your buddy covering you. So, Bertrand and Serpent, you guys have just got to decide amongst yourselves. One of you take the initiative and say, right.
Well,
you
we
guys
saw
move
that
far,
you
I'm
guys.
gonna move.
We saw that you guys were both.
Alright,
in
guys,
place, so we assumed that you
let's
were going to
get
cover
you guys,
for us.
if
So
you
we
haven't
both
already,
lined up.
Yeah.
get them doing like their double taps and get
My
online
point is
with
that
live
you should just
ammo,
ignore what we're doing, because if
and then bring it
we
back in.
think we're both in place, but we've both been killed, or we both get stoppages or something like that, then there's no bring you guys. Or also, if we have to move, then there's nobody. It's just safer to have somebody covering you while you move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your buddy. That's what your buddies are for.
Okay.
Probably
I'm gesturing with my hands, and I don't know why.
probably the AR should get in position first, so I should cover him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just up to you guys. It could just be whoever's closest moves first.
Oh yeah.
Typically, if contact's on the right, the buddy team on the right side will be the first to drop and provide cover for the other team to move online. If it's on the left, it'll be the left team to drop and provide cover for the right team to move.
Okay.
Just all
my
depends on
point
what
is they
direction
should be
contact's on.
covering each other in their buddy teams, so one buddy should be covering and the other one move, even if the other buddy team's already formed. 'Cause you can't have too much suppressing fire. And also, it's the very beginning of a firefight, and the first 30 seconds of an ambush is going to be the most dangerous, because you're exactly where they want you, so you need as many people firing as possible. And I don't know about in America, but in the UK we have something called a baseline, which is the minimum number of people needed to suppress the enemy, and its baseline can only be 3. So you need at least 3 people covering you as you move to be effective.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions?
Okay.
Okay, guess what we're going to do? Form wedge facing west again. Right, let's move out.
Moving out.
Stepping off.
Okay, yeah, so for the next one, we're going to do it live firing, so fire your weapons when we get to contact and stuff.
Oh.
Contact front.
Contact front.
Line.
Line.
I'm up. Go ahead and move.
Right, move up.
Moving up.
Reloading.
Magazine.
Oh.
Or not. Lol. Game, why you troll me? Alright, that was pretty good. Just like my guy having one. So yeah, we got lots of cover and fire down pretty quickly, so the enemy's gonna be crapping themselves. We'll probably still all die anyway, but oh well.
So you said twice.
Go fucking west.
You said move up twice, but we didn't move. Or
Didn't
did?
move?
Or,
Or move up towards the contact?
Or did? Maybe I just misunderstood. I'm not sure. So we were just in a line, and then you said move up. I was standing up again, but.
Yeah,
but
I was saying that to Blackbird because he was still behind me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I really should have said Blackbird move up.
Alright, go bring it in, Herb, and, yeah, so.
Did you hear that?
Nope.
On the radio, he just said, "Let's go back."
Let's go back. I don't have a radio, so.
Okay. Well then, yeah.
Thought he said it's only XO.
Nope, he said Herbie X, so let's call it back.
Alright.
I'll go over bounding, and then I'll have you get set up while we set up for the first team to go. Alright.
Hey Falcon, I don't have a 343, so you say in
That's
chat
fine.
next time.
Oh, does someone want to go? Where'd the other team? Oh, they're there. They're coming back. Cool. Alright. So, we've gone over reaction to contact. So, there are a few stages to every firefight. I'll wait till these guys get back.
Herb, do you want my radio?
That'll be okay.
Alright. So, as I was saying, guys, there's a couple stages to every firefight. The first one is the actions on. And that is basically your initial reaction to contact, and that's something we're going to try to program into you guys. Alright? So that's what we just covered, and you just practiced. And the second stage is going to be gaining fire superiority, or winning the firefight. Alright? And in order to do that, two things need to happen. One is, you need to get online in the direction of the contact. Second thing is, you need to locate the enemy, and then start putting more rounds on the enemy than they're returning to you, in order to keep their heads down, so that you can gain fire superiority and then maneuver to effect, completion of the fight. So, basically in any firefight, your objectives are to find them, to fix them, to flank them, and then to destroy them. So, we're going to talk about how to get online and effectively start winning the firefight from your fire teams. So, as your fire teams, as you saw, you're in a wedge, right? Your standard formation. You make contact. Now, you need to get online. So in order to do that, we need to talk a little bit about bounding. So to do this, we're going to bound by buddy teams. So each buddy team pair will bound until they're online. So for the first buddy team pair, the grenadier and the team leader, this is pretty simple. The team leader's already where he needs to be. So all that needs to happen is the grenadier needs to bound up. So we'll use this as a perfect case example of an individual bound. So I'm here, right? I'm in the prone. I've done my double tap. I'm engaging the enemy at my normal rate of fire, right? 1 round every 3 to 4 seconds. Now, the squad leader calls line, 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 or the team leader calls line, line, line. So I need to get up on line. How am I going to do that? Well, the first thing I need to do is I'm engaging. I want to do a quick shoulder check. So I'm going to use my free look. I'm going to check my right shoulder and check my left shoulder. All right, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to stand up into someone's arc. So, for example, I'm going to use Serpent here. Let's say I did my shoulder check and Serpent's right behind me. He's shooting over my head. Do I stand up? No. I need to either get out of the way, right? Make sure I'm not in his line of fire anymore. Or I need to tell him, Serpent, move right. So that he can clear my arc. So now I'm okay to stand up. So doing the shoulder check does a couple things. First off, it allows me to make sure I'm not going to stand up in someone's line of fire. Second thing it does, it allows me to do a quick scan of the battlefield, right? So as I'm doing my shoulder check to check my arcs, I might notice, oh hey, there's an enemy squad over there. I should probably say something about that and engage them. Alright, it allows you to keep your situational awareness very high. And a lot of people don't do this, and it definitely could save you from that, no debate creeping up behind you or whatever. Just taking the opportunity to look around periodically throughout the firefight allows you to spot things that other people are very focused on the contact, and they're going to lose. Alright? So that's the first thing, is do your shoulder checks. Alright, so I've done my shoulder checks. I'm clear. What's the next thing I'm going to do? I'm going to state my intention. So there's two ways to do this. Always you should say it out loud. So I should say, Falcon, moving. Right? So this way it communicates to my buddy team partner that I am moving, that he's going to need to pick up his rate of fire and make sure that he's ready to cover me. What constitutes ready to cover someone? It means that you can put rounds on target within half a second. So walking forward while having your weapon up is not ready to cover someone. Ready to cover someone is being in a stable shooting position, looking at a suspected or known enemy position, either actively engaging them or preparing to actively engage them. Alright? So you have to be in a good firing position in order to cover someone. So, communication. So I've said, Falcon moving. That communicates my intent to move. Now I actually do the movement. And my movement is going to be no longer than it takes me to say the following phrase. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Alright? If you can say that out loud to yourself, right? That means that you've been up too long. All right, so I want to make a quick, short bound in order to gain my position. So I'm gonna do my bound. I'm gonna say, he's up, I'm up. He sees me, I'm down. That's how long my bound's gonna be. All right. What determines your rate of movement is gonna be how quickly you wait in between bounds. If you get really good, you can move fast because you can make a lot of bounds in a short amount of time. If it takes people longer to get organized, your squad's gonna slow down. So that's an individual bound. Obviously, once I get back in the prone here, so I'm going to say, do my shoulder check. Alright, Falcon moving. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. Falcon covering. I'm going to communicate the fact that my fire team partner or my battle buddy can now move, because I am now covering the sector and he is free to move. So in order to get online, so for the first fire team, the Grenadier is going to do that until he's online with the squad leader or the fire team leader. For the other fire team, right, the automatic rifleman and the rifleman, you guys are going to have to take turns. And the rule of thumb is, when you're bounding, leadership goes first. So the highest ranking member of the fire team, or whatever element is bounding, goes first. So in this case, it's the automatic rifleman. The automatic rifleman, he's going to make sure the rifleman's covering, either by hearing him say, I'm covering, or listening for the sound of his weapon. Your weapon speaks louder than your voice. Things are going to get loud. You won't always be able to hear people, but if you hear him shooting, right, that means he's covering you. So you're free to go. So I hear the rifleman shooting. I'm the automatic rifleman. Alright. I look at him. Alright. He's covering. I'm not in anyone's arc. I do my movement. You know, Falcon moving. Falcon covering. Right? Now he goes. Right? So now my battle buddy will say his name moving, comes up online with me, his name covering. And we do that until we're online. Alright, any questions about how taking an individual bound works?
What's default, succession or leapfrog?
Successive. So always come up to the person. It helps its higher degree of command and control, and it keeps the bound shorter, which is important. Good question.
Let's say the automatic rifleman takes one bound and is then online, and the rifleman has to take 2 bounds. Like,
right.
What do you do between the bounds? How long do you wait down?
In order to do that, I would basically go down, shoot a couple rounds, and then go up. There's no real set thing. If your battle buddy is getting out in front of you at any point, you can always say, "Wait up! I'm taking another bound." All right, and so you need to maintain that kind of communication. Same thing as if, let's say the person in front of you, let's say your battle buddy bounds in front of you, right? So they're drifting to the left. Happens a lot. People drift in their lanes. We'll talk about convergence in a second, but after we go through this next exercise. But you need to pay attention and communicate those little details. That's what's important. The shift left on your next bound, or don't move any farther left, or you need to move back to the right. Those kind of things are really important communication that needs to happen. Good question. Anything else? So there's no like hard and set rule, is what I'm trying to say. You need to just use your common sense to make it work without doing anything stupid. Like, don't run for, 30 seconds to get back in formation. That's probably a good way to get shot. Alright. So once we're online, like I said, we're going to be doing our normal rate of fire, which is one round or one burst every 3 to 4 seconds. Fast rate of fire is every 1 to 2 seconds. Slow rates every 7 to 8 seconds. Alright, so the part of the fire team leader's job is to dictate the rate of fire. So, let's say you're engaging a target. He'll say, infantry to the front, normal rate, go on. That means engage at normal rate. He could assign, automatic rifleman, engage fast. Everyone else normal. Can say, Leonidas, engage slow. Everyone else engage normal. Leonidas slow. Viking fast. Osmos normal. That's part of the fire team leader's job is rates of fire. Whatever it takes to win the firefight. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Beta is gonna go out and he's gonna go hide somewhere to our west, and 2 of the fire teams are going to observe. 1 of the fire teams is going to do advanced contact. Beta is going to initiate contact on them, and then they're going to get online and start to try to win the firefight. As soon as they've won the firefight, we'll call end X, alright, and then the next fire team will go. And we'll have everyone critique their performance, things they did right, things they did wrong, things they could do better. Alright? Any questions?
Can we get gear now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's, so while Beta's setting up, I want everyone to go get fire team leaders, get your guys geared out properly with the right stuff, and then we'll do an advanced contact drill.
Exactly.
Fire team, one.
Hey, are we on channel 1?
Yeah, I'm on channel 1.
Just remember, you shouldn't actually have to go into the crates. You should be able to go to the sign and select your slot.
Haha, grenadiers the fast. If we don't hurry on up when we go. There's all the infinite weapons.
Crack on, what's up?
Yeah, so, Army or USS?
Just go to the sign and pick up your kit from there. We might wanna get some radios, because when you take that from the sign, we won't get any radios.
So yeah, guys, grab your loadout.
Yeah.
If you go up to that little sign, you can pick the send the loadout for your.
Wait, isn't this army? Shouldn't we get USMC?
No, we're getting army.
Why is your
USMC?
God, why are you so stupid, man? So grab a 343 because you won't have one by default.
Then you have the fire team leader. And then after that you have the automatic rifleman group.
Fire team 1 once you're done on me.
Fire team 2, grab a 343 from the crate.
Alright. Herbie, your team's going first.
Okay.
Alright,
Alright, everyone else, once your team's set, get them out of the hangar. We're gonna do...
I'm putting in your earbuds, by the way.
Grabbing extra max.
Good shout. Osmo.
Don't do stuff unless I ask you to do it.
Osmo.
Grenadier?
Okay.
Did you pick up a radio?
He's run off.
Okay.
Yeah, I got radio.
What do we do?
Just make sure you have your earplugs in. Task, you have a radio.
I'm catching him. Leonardo, go back to your fighting leader.
3?
Leonardo, go back to
We
your
haven't
fighting
designated any channels just yet. Just,
Where is Yaxo?
leader. Over here.
Grab an Leonidas?
Yep.
Yeah, grab an
you guys, I remember your position at the standard
You
wave
set beta?
formation. Tasso's gonna be on my right side, and suffocation on my left, and Osmo on the far left.
I'll cut over here.
Everyone make sure you have a flag.
I'll cut.
Where do I pick up Brad? Fire team lead carry.
Don't give me extra work, man.
I'll cut.
A rifle.
Repeat last.
Go to the sign.
Rifleman is last, I think.
US
Fire
Army.
team leader carry. Gotta have extra capacity.
They always weigh quite a bit less than most.
There you
So sometimes I'll have an slam grenade launcher and carry some grenades.
Or
Sometimes they will carry some extra ammo for the automatic rifleman, etc.
You
But
won't
they
be using
generally-
much ammunition, don't worry.
Generally,
I'm gonna
Way
move them
quite,
up halfway
less.
between us and the tree line and before we start.
Flares, charge, you don't need those.
No, we're in the hangar getting gear.
Viking?
Yeah.
Okay,
Break.
Say
I
here.
need to lower my radio. Just a second.
So Serpent, should we have to bounce, then you go first, okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Just a quick question: are we allowed to use short-range radios? Or
I prefer you not, because it's,
okay,
you know, kind of convenient thing.
Yep, understood.
Also, the other reason we don't use short range is because that's kind of reserved for the fire team leaders and the squad leaders. So if everyone's clogged up with their own personal communication, then they can't communicate effectively. So voice is still the default for fire team.
And I have 2 bells for you, should you need them.
Alright, hey, everyone get your fire teams out here on the edge.
Let's
see if you have
Alright, another thing that came up was, the reason we're not gonna try to avoid using short ranges for this is that the short range, if we have them, needs to be kind of reserved for fire team leaders and are more deliberate in their execution with a focus on avoiding casualties and doing things correctly. So yes, this means we're going to spend a lot of time doing things extremely repetitively to practice and to build skills. But with those skills is going to come the ability to execute maneuvers which are much more complex than the typical things that you see on the server from day to day kind of play. So one of the tenets of that is to build individual kind of basic skills. So that's forms the base of the whole platoon. If we can't do things as a fire team, then we can't do things as a squad. If we can't do things as a squad, then we're not going to be able to do anything as a platoon. So you gotta build the foundation before you can go on to more interesting and complicated stuff. And a big part of that is knowing how to work as a fire team. And more than that, even though it's labeled fire, I'm gonna put a Google Docs in the chat here. It's gonna have some figures that we can use.
What's the password for the server? Pancakes?
Pancakes?
Yeah. Alright, man, just hop in as one squad leader. Okay. So just you don't have to look at that right this second. I'll reference it when we need it. Stand by for 1 second. Team training. What it really is it's individual training. It's knowing how to conduct yourself, working with other people in close proximity, and being an effective member of a team. So it's much more of an individual skills thing than it is a fire team thing. There's lots of things with, working with other people, but for the most part, that's working with other people in the context of managing yourself. So, with that being said, if everyone could just pay attention, we'll get to doing some stuff very quickly. But we're going to run through very quickly the organizational layout of the fire team before we get into the game. So, fire team consists of four people. You have your fire team leader, your grenadier, your automatic rifleman, and then your rifleman. Each member of the fire team has a specific role and job. The first being the fire team. Okay. So this is the platoon operations fire team course. So for those of you not familiar, platoon operations is basically an attempt to build like a standard tactical doctrine for United Operations. So we basically play as a wide variety of different units and different nationalities, organizations, and orbats. But this is basically an attempt to have the same group of people playing the same slots over the course of several training sessions and then into a couple missions. And what this allows you to do is build kind of standard operating procedures and intimacy with the people that you're working with, so that we can facilitate like a higher standard of gameplay. So what this means is we're going to be playing games that are much more realistically oriented and team leader. So the fire team leader forms the basis of leadership within the platoon. Actually, before I go on, does anyone have any questions about platoon ops or anything I just talked about before we get started?
About how long is the whole course going to take?
So this particular course should be about an hour and a half-ish.
Cool, thanks.
Alright, any other questions?
Maybe one question. How long term do you foresee this project in terms of maybe the leadership sticking around? So just squad leaders, platoon leader, whatever. Is this a 6-month kind of you hope to see fruit bear, or is this 1 year, 2 years?
Yeah, good question. So the kind of expected training schedule is probably about 4 to 6 weeks, and then we turn over the leadership and have reassemble a new platoon with the same people, and then let other people try different spots and basically try to build